Today we're going to go over thesis statements. A thesis statement is the most important part of an essay. Your essay is not complete without that thesis statement. Okay, so please take Cornell notes. The objective today is that students can write a thesis statement by recognizing opinion-based, controversial thesis statements and vague and specific language in the thesis statements. Questions. On the left-hand part of your paper, please write down these questions. What is a thesis statement? What three things are needed when writing a thesis statement? What makes a strong thesis statement? On the bottom of your Cornell notes, part of your summary, please write a thesis statement from the example presented in this video and summarize what you learned from this video. You may pause this video to copy down these questions and then restart it. Your thesis statement is the most important sentence of your essay. It is an assertion or a claim you spend your entire essay proving and supporting. It is the last sentence in your introduction paragraph. A thesis statement is a direct statement that explains the topic of your essay, what you believe about your topic, and why you believe it. Even though you believe what you believe in your thesis statement, you never ever want to start off your thesis statement by saying, I believe, or in my opinion. It is already implied that you believe these things in your thesis statement, so please do not put that down. Every thesis statement needs these three things. You need to identify the topic, so identification. What is the topic you are talking about? And you can identify the topic in your prompt. So when you're analyzing the prompt, when you're reading the questions, identify what the topic is. We need to know what is it that we are writing about. The claim is what your opinion is based on the topic. So once you identify what the topic is, you need to think about what you believe about the topic. And again, we're never saying I believe. Finally, the direction. What are the three reasons you can support your claim? What are the three reasons you can to support your claim? This will outline the body paragraph of your essay. So these are the three reasons, and then these three reasons turned into three body paragraphs. In a thesis statement, you have all these three elements, but they typically turn into one clear, concise, specific sentence. You will need to form these three parts into a complete argumentative sentence. Identification of the topic plus claim, which is your belief about the topic, plus the direction, which is reason number 1, reason number 2, and reason number 3. Before you write your thesis, decide what you plan to argue and determine 3 different and general ways in which you can prove your opinion. It helps if you make a T-chart first. Sometimes it's easier to argue a certain side of the issue, and it might be smart to take the side that is easier to prove. So let's say you kind of believe something, but you have more facts to back up another reason. You might want to take the part that's easier to prove. So let's take a look at this writing prompt. Educators often discuss whether high school sports have a positive influence on students. Some educators think high school sports do have a positive influence because the lessons learned from athletic competition adds to the lesson learned in the classroom. Other educators think high school sports do not have a positive influence because the emphasis on sports often overshadows students' achievement in other areas. In your opinion, do high school sports have a positive influence on students? So the first thing you want to do is identify the topic. What is it that we're talking about? So as we look through the prompts, we might want to just highlight important details. With this one, it looks like we're talking about high school sports. And then we're talking about high school sports specifically in high school because it says, in your opinion, do high school sports have a positive influence on students? Okay, so the topic is sports offered in high school. The claim is your opinion. So let's say you're looking at this and you think yes. Well, you don't want to say yes. You want to say that it does have a positive influence, so they have a positive influence. So sports have a positive influence. Then you want to think of three reasons why they have a positive influence. And that's going to be the direction. Three reasons here is it teaches social skills, it teaches time management, it provides exercise and teach benefits of hard work. Those are the three directions. Those three directions will then eventually turn into three body paragraphs. So you have to take those three elements and make them one sentence. So let's look at this thesis statement right on the bottom. It says, high school sports unquestionably have a positive influence on high school students because they teach social skills, reinforce time management skills, provide exercise, and show the benefits of hard work. Again, high school sports unquestionably have a positive influence on high school students because they teach social skills, reinforce time management skills, provide exercise, and show the benefits of hard work. On your summary on the bottom, I want you to go ahead and write your own thesis statement based on this prompt. So go ahead and develop a T-chart and develop your own thesis statement. So let's read the prompt. It says, the state of Illinois has been locked in a debate for several years as to whether the driving age should be raised from 16 to 18. Some people feel that 16-year-olds lack the responsibility and maturity to handle the significant privilege of driving. Others argue that 16-year-olds use their license for much more than social events. In your opinion, should the driving age be raised from 16 to 18? So identify the topic. What exactly is the prompt asking? Identify your claim. What do you believe? And identify three reasons why you believe that, the general reasons you believe your claim to be true. Once you've filled in those charts, go ahead and write one sentence on the bottom of your paper. Again, go ahead and pause this video if you need time to reflect and think about. All right, so a couple things to remember is to remove the first and second person, no I, you, and your from your introduction, and also do not put contractions in formal writing. All right, so we are also going to focus on a couple of no red ink assignments. No red ink assignments are definitely going to help us with our writing. So a strong thesis statement is an opinion. An opinion expresses what someone thinks or feels. For example, uniforms allow students to focus on their schoolwork rather than their clothes. That's an opinion. A strong thesis statement is not a fact. A fact can be proven true or false. Example, in many schools, children are required to wear uniforms. Also, a strong thesis statement must be a controversial thesis statement, meaning two reasonable people can argue for or against that thesis statement. So you want your thesis statement to be an opinion, not a fact. Some more examples of facts and opinion. A fact. Many people keep dogs as pets. You don't want to have that as a thesis statement because that is a fact. Opinion. Nursing homes and hospitals would benefit from keeping dogs as pets. That's a great thesis statement. Now, in the no red ink assignments, a lot of these thesis statements are one-pronged thesis statement. Here at Hyde Park, we like to focus on a three-pronged thesis statement, which is three directions. So keep that in mind. Again, an opinion. Ariel surrounds herself with friends from The Little Mermaid. Sebastian turns out to be Ariel's most loyal friend in The Little Mermaid. That is an opinion piece. Okay? Another thing that we want to focus on when it comes to thesis statement is identifying controversial thesis statements. A controversial thesis statement has reasonable evidence both for and against it. To figure if it's controversial, ask yourself, could reasonable people fall on both sides of the argument? So here we want a thesis statement that falls in the middle, meaning two people can argue for or against it. So we don't want our thesis statement to be too obvious and we don't want our thesis statement to be not defendable. So let me give you some examples. When it's obvious, it's kind of like a duh moment, a duh moment. For example, helmets are helpful because they protect bicyclists. That's too obvious. Controversial is city police should issue more tickets to bicyclists who ride without helmets. Okay? We can argue for or against that. Not defendable is helmets offer no practical benefit for bicyclists. Okay? That is not defendable. All right, so let's take a look at some no red ink examples. So here we're focusing on thesis statements. We have recognizing strong thesis statements controversial, recognizing strong thesis statement opinions, and the recognizing strong thesis statement controversial. So let's take a look at this one. So with this no red ink assignment, you're going to basically state if that's a fact or opinion. Many Americans believe that the stereotype that teenagers are lazy and self-centered. Is that a fact or opinion? Can you verify that with facts? So let's say that's a fact. Okay? All right. More Americans own dogs and cats. Is that a fact or opinion? Let's say it's opinion. Not quite. So if you get something wrong, what's going to happen is they're going to give you some notes. So you'll have to review those notes, and then you have 3 tries to try to get it right. Okay, so that's fact and opinion. Let's look at controversial. So the way this would work is you have to identify something that's too obvious, not defendable, or controversial. Participation awards weakens young athletes' competitive spirits. Is that too obvious, controversial, or not defendable? Okay? That is controversial. That means 2 people can argue for or against that. All middle school students should be required to work full-time jobs in addition to their coursework. Okay? Let's say that's too obvious. Not quite. All right, so then there again, you'll have more practice. And again, with no red ink, you have the ability to score 100% as long as you keep trying. So please try to focus on those elements as far as your thesis statement needs to be clear, concise. It needs to be a controversial statement. It needs to have those 3 elements, and it needs to be an opinion. Have a good day. This is Miss Bernal.